Well, not so fast, Mr. Jimmy Kimmel. He is set to return to part of his airwaves tonight at whatever time that garbage show is on the air. But the fact of the matter is, he's not returning to his full audience. In fact, he's missing most of the biggest cities that he had. And a lot of people on the left are talking about this as some crazy victory. I actually think Jimmy Kimmel's going to go on air and completely implode. I think he's going to poke the bear. I think he's going to double and triple down. And I think I'm probably going to use him to sell more coffee because everyone loves dunking on Jimmy Kimmel. Let's look at how things are falling apart for him already. By the way, thank you, everyone who's gone to cbcamazon.com, cbcamazon.com, link in the description, and picked up our blackberry cream, our blueberry cobbler, strawberries and cream. Our fall flavors are in stock. We don't have many in there yet, but they're there. We have our Colombian, our dark roast, our butterscotch toffee, all in K-cups, all there. Free overnight shipping. Check it out if you drink coffee. And if you pick some up, please go back and make sure you leave a review on the product. I really want to get, I think we're at like 1,500 reviews on stuff. This is 1.4 thousand. Whatever you bought, please go back, leave a review. I'd like to get us up to 2,000 reviews ASAP for the Christmas season. Humiliation for Jimmy Kimmel. By the way, it's all available at Whole Bean and Ground too. As woke Seattle and Portland ban him from returning to their TV screens. Jimmy Kimmel will not be returning to TV screens in two of the nation's most progressive cities after an ABC affiliate refused to reinstate the show. Sinclair, which runs ABC stations in both Seattle and Portland, will not air Kimmel's late night show Tuesday after ABC announced it would return following a suspension over the host's comments about Charlie Kirk's assassination. Now, a couple things are true now. One, we now know for an absolute fact that Donald Trump and the FCC were not responsible for Jimmy Kimmel's suspension. So we can just throw out about 2/3 of the narrative there about his suspension. We also know that all eyes are going to be on Sinclair Media tonight because Sinclair Media was the one initially that said, we are not going to air your show in these 18 states and 38 different affiliates. We know that even though viewership will be higher tonight because everyone's going to tune in to hear what he says, it's going to be even lower without those 18 states and 38 ABC affiliates, including Washington, D.C., Salt Lake City, El Paso, Austin, Nashville, Las Vegas, and Pittsburgh will not be airing Jimmy Kimmel Live. The company had previously said it will refuse to lift the suspension of Kimmel's show on the stations until formal discussions are held with ABC regarding the network's commitment to professionalism and accountability. The broadcaster also called on Kimmel to issue a direct apology to the Kirk family and make a meaningful personal donation to the Kirk family and Turning Point USA. Again, the second part is weird. You know, I don't want his blood money. I don't want, any of his cash if I'm TPUSA. It'd be nice if he issued an apology, but I get the feeling that it's not going to be sincere anyway. So I would just prefer he go back to being a vile piece of garbage because that's what we know he really is. Many on social media have called for a boycott of Sinclair over the decision to keep Kimmel off air. Well, also, let's not forget that Sinclair chickened out on airing the memorial to Charlie Kirk after leftoids made terror threats. Leftists were sending threats to ABC to tell them if they aired the Charlie Kirk memorial instead of Jimmy Kimmel Live, bad things would happen. We know the leftist in Sacramento, which was released by the California legal system, has since been rearrested because he had left threatening notes to the network around and signed them as Charlie Kirk from above and things like that. A total lunatic. CNN media journalist Brian Selter said Sinclair refusing to air Kimmel's show on his ABC affiliate station, another example of the slow unspooling of broadcast TV. One angry Seattle locals wrote on social media, just learned that Seattle ABC affiliate Como will not be returning Jimmy Kimmel to their lineup. Seattle have never been so ashamed of my city. Really? You guys have an open-air drug market and you let Antifa run things. That doesn't bother you? That doesn't bother you? This bothers you, that you can't watch Jimmy Kimmel, that you can't figure out how to use the internet to watch his garbage show. I'd be more ashamed that I didn't know how to use a VPN. I mean, these people are delusional lunatics. Again, Sinclair broadcast, which owns 31 ABC stations, announced they refuse Disney's request to broadcast Jimmy Kimmel's show when ABC puts him back on the air tonight. Now, I'm hoping that Nextstar Media Group will do the same. That will be the true, right now we haven't seen. Ooh, quick update. I don't know where to put this in the video, but Nextstar has now joined Sinclair in preempting Jimmy Kimmel Live. This will keep Jimmy Kimmel's lies out of 100 million American homes. They just put out this a few moments ago. Nextstar Media Group today announced that the company-owned and partner television stations affiliated with ABC's television network will continue to preempt Jimmy Kimmel Live. We made a decision last week to preempt Jimmy Kimmel Live following ABC referred to as Jimmy Kimmel's ill-timed and insensitive comments at a critical time in our national discourse. We stand by that decision, pending assurance that all parties are committed to fostering an environment of respectful, constructive dialogue in markets we save. You'll love to see it. Anything? They're just promoting whatever television shows. Let's see, Law and Order. Nobody cares. Free speech isn't free speech anymore. Pathetic hypocrites. Charlie Kirk. So people are going into, the CW and Nextstar and saying like, hey, you guys need to pull this too. We haven't seen that. It'll be interesting to see if that's how it shakes out. But again, this is a great minor win. If we look at Sinclair's tweet, it's overwhelmingly supported. 60,000 likes, 13,000 comments. I said, I'm very skeptical you won't fold by the end of the week. I hope I'm wrong. Drop this terrible show. Robbie Starbuck. Never forget, Jimmy Kimmel said this. Of course, he said, it's not about consequences for what you're saying. He says, and ABC, to their credit, didn't waste any time. They canceled her show today. I'm not a fan of censorship, but this was about free speech. I forget who he was talking, or I'm sorry, I'm not a fan of censorship, but this wasn't about free speech. It was about consequences for saying something vile. So he supported this back in 2018. Woke always wins. We are all Jimmy Kimmel. Well, let's see if this Indian right-wing Cope account turns out to be right. I'm guessing Jimmy Kimmel will not be apologizing, correcting his misinformation, or making any meaningful donation to the Charlie Kirk family. I don't know. Here's a bunch of ABC affiliates. I mean, this is about half the country. Again, look at the show's ratings. The decline of Jimmy Kimmel Live. We talked about this yesterday. Like, Jimmy Kimmel Live is only worse. The only show worse than Jimmy Kimmel Live right now is The Tonight Show, which has already been canceled. And The Late Show, which is also very, very bad. These are shows that people got sick and tired of hearing the same garbage every single night. Now, what will Jimmy Kimmel do? Well, let's see first of all, what Sinclair said.
Jimmy might be back on ABC, but dozens of affiliates won't air him. Sinclair, one of the largest owners of ABC affiliate stations, say they're not giving Jimmy back his slot until changes are made. Jimmy's supposed to return tomorrow, but you won't see him in Portland, Seattle, St. Louis, even in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. Sorry, Swalwell. This was a showbiz decision. You can't act like Maddow when you're getting paid to be like Johnny Carson.
Right.
Jimmy got benched because his bosses thought, framing half the country for an assassination, not a great laugh line. Nobody was even asking for Kimmel's hot take on Kirk's assassination.
Right.
And with a couple months left on his contract, this could be the finale.
That's really what's going on here. I am sure that basically he's done. His contract, I don't know when his contract is actually up, but they're probably just going to let him play out the contract. They have to pay him anyway. When is Kimmel contract up? May of 2026. So 9 months. That's probably what's going to happen here. They're just going to let him play out the next 9 months. He'll play nice-ish so that he can keep his staff paid because he doesn't want to have to pay them. Obviously, he could do that, but he won't. And honestly, this is probably the right business decision for Disney because if they fire him, they have to pay his contract anyway. So you might as well make what you can make from this loser for the next 9 months. I suspect in May, that will be the final death knell of late night. Now, people are saying that he's going to have Gavin Newsom on tonight, which creates a whole nother list of problems. Insiders reveal the real reason Jimmy Kimmel is returning and the secret monologue plan that could spark a mutiny. A source has now told the Daily Mail the content of Kimmel's opening monologue is being kept a secret, and it's unclear if he will address the suspension. Of course he will. Staff at the show didn't know whether he will apologize or decide to criticize Disney and the ABC move, but the insiders made it clear that there could be consequences if Kimmel doesn't defend himself and fight back against the censorship. What are the consequences? An even smaller audience? We don't know. We don't know what he's going to say, what he's going to do to address it. They're going to keep that secret, but I can tell you he's not going to roll over and just take it. Oh, he absolutely did. When they suspended him, he just rolled over and took it like a bitch. Okay? Oops, I was supposed to save that for the Jeremy Hambley channel. The last week has made his balls bigger, not smaller. I expect him to come out swinging, and I think everyone here does. We're depending on him to stand up for what's right. If he doesn't, there will be a mutiny. No, there won't be. What, is the camera operator going to go get another job filming another dying late night show host? Like, these people don't have any other options. He's not going to take it laying down. I can't wait for his sweet, Donald Trump is fat and has a small wang jokes to really stick it to Trump. America has moved on. America doesn't care what these losers have to say anymore. And the fact of the matter is, like, the ratings prove it. Way before he even did that, Jimmy Kimmel's coming back tomorrow with Gavin Newsom as guest in a biggest FU flex. I don't even watch late night TV, but I'll be tuning in. You won't be. You won't be. I love that you bring Gavin Newsom on. Like Jimmy Kimmel wants Gavin Newsom or any political people on his show, but he has to bite and chew. Yeah, I mean, good luck. Have fun, Jimmy Kimmel. We'll see how this all shakes out when you have you don't have a third of the country watching. You can pander to California, some of the cities, and other woke cities. That's fine. You'll be gone in May, and nobody will miss you. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like on it. Don't forget to check out Coffee Brand Coffee, link in the description, and we'll talk to you again real soon.